So Daddy Trump has attended the NATO summit at The Hague.
Mark Rutte, the NATO chief, who is your friend, he called you daddy earlier. Do you regard your NATO allies as kind of children?
No, he likes me. I think he likes me. If he doesn't, I'll let you know. I'll come back and I'll hit him hard, okay? No? He did it very affectionate. Daddy, you're my daddy.
And he's asked the question, will this ceasefire last?
President Donald Trump is warning the war between Israel and Iran may reignite, and it may happen soon.
Trump is asked the question, will the ceasefire last? Now, let me remind you that a ceasefire just means what it means. It means stop firing. And war is not fought continuously. It's fought in a series of battles. And so when a ceasefire is called for, it's simply a pause in the fighting. Now, Trump has branded this particular portion of the war the 12-day war. Does that mean that it's over, the fighting between Israel and Iran? Not necessarily.
But the bottom line is, whatever we hit was not significant, and we didn't seem to have made much difference to that entire program. The real question at this stage is, what about this ceasefire? What's its purpose? What's the basis for it? Is there some plan to go forward and craft some sort of compromise? I mean, what's the expectation? Because we also know that Israel is running out of cash and missiles. Their economy is about to implode, and they've run out of missiles. By the way, we're having problems with our own missile inventories in the Navy. We shot large numbers of missiles in support of Israel's defense. Those destroyers have to go back to port and reload. And then Raytheon reported earlier today that they have a problem with rocket motors, that while we build some components, we're dependent on foreign sources for the critical components in our rocket motors. We produce, if it's a good day, 660 missiles a year. This is the Patriot THAAD missile complex. That's going to be gone in a few days, frankly, in any modern war. So I don't know what's going on. It looks to me like there are a lot of considerations here. What does it really mean? I don't know. But I think President Trump took a long walk out on a very slender limb when he told everybody that the war was over, that he is the master of the universe and he solved this problem and brought peace. Good luck with that. I hope so, but like Natalie, but I don't think so.
If you go into the news cycle, that Israel has kind of continued to fight, but that fight is now back in Palestinian territory.
Just as Israel is claiming victory in its war against Iran, the country has received a tough new reminder that the war in Gaza continues to grind on. Israelis woke to the news that 7 soldiers were killed in an explosion in the southern Gaza Strip. This was the deadliest single incident for the army in months. At the same time, Palestinians have been reporting dozens of people being killed each day as they try to collect food in Gaza. They say the Israeli army is opening fire at crowds of people. The army says it only opens fire when it sees people acting suspiciously, but that death toll continues to grow each day.
And so why is the fight continuing in Palestinian territory, and why has the fight stopped with Iran? Well, number one thing we need to understand is Israel was running out of defense munitions for 2 systems, Iron Dome and Arrow 3. And so they would have needed to replenish these defense munitions. Why? Because they've been fighting for months. So Israel's been fighting against the Houthis, they've been fighting against Lebanon, and then now suddenly Iran. And so they've depleted a lot of their stock of defensive weapons. And so that needs to be replenished. And guess who is going to foot the bill for that? That would be none other than America, from which they get their supply. And so it's not shocking to me to know that Donald Trump brokered the ceasefire. Why? Because he's the one who has to resupply Israel with all these defensive munitions. Wow. Why would this war continue between Israel and Iran? Why will it re-emerge? Well, number one reason is that there is a long-standing hatred between these two countries.
So that was the scene, chanting "Death to Israel, death to America," in the Iranian parliament after they voted for a bill that could suspend nuclear inspections in response to the U.S. strikes on their nuclear facilities.
Number two reason is because Bibi Netanyahu has a whole list of criminal convictions against him for which he would have to stand trial as soon as all this war effort is finished. And so it makes sense that they switch from the whole war with Iran to now going back to fighting these Palestinians who are really by now just women and children, defenseless women and children being bombed, being shot. It doesn't make sense, being starved to death. Why is all of this going on? In my personal opinion, it is because whilst Israel continues to fight a war, Bibi Netanyahu will not stand trial for war crimes and domestic corruption offenses that he allegedly has been accused of. The home front accusations, those I cannot confirm. But when we speak in terms of the case that the ICC has put against him, that we can confirm. Now let me say this. The objective of the 12-day war was supposed to deter Iran from building a nuclear weapon. And there's been a lot of, how can I say this, media warfare going on between Fox News, CNN, President Trump. Why? Because they're talking about the disgraceful manner in which the airmen have been spoken about.
Very unfair to the pilots that risk their lives for our country, and then they get fake news, New York Times and CNN, make up a phony story to get some hits.
Well, they weren't spoken about. We don't even know the names of the airmen that blew up the three nuclear facilities. And so really the whole warfare going on is, did these bombings actually destroy these facilities or not? But really, to be honest, that is not the real question that we need to ask. If this was to stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, then the question we should be asking is this one: where is this enriched uranium? Because that's what America went in there for. And that's what Bibi Netanyahu supposedly went in there for. But nobody knows where this enriched uranium actually is right now. Thank you for watching the Intelligence Report. I'm your host, Dr. Joseph Opare. Don't forget to like and to subscribe. Catch you soon.